We have put together the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Democrat officials never believed they could win this election honestly. I really believe that. That's why they did the mail-in ballots, where there's tremendous corruption and fraud going on. That's why they mailed out tens of millions of unsolicited ballots without any verification measures whatsoever. And I've told everybody that these things would happen because I've seen it happen. I watched a lot of different elections before they decided to go with this big, massive election with tens of millions of ballots going out to everybody, in many cases totally unsolicited. Our goal is to defend the integrity of the election. We'll not allow the corruption to steal such an important election, or any election for that matter. And we can't allow anybody to silence our vote.
Something very strange is happening. It seems like the Dems have conjured up the dead. They've done a satanic ritual to raise the dead so they can come out of their graves and vote. It's happened before. It's happening again. And that ain't the only weird thing that's happening. Another thing's happened. In certain states, they've had a bunch of votes come in. Big mail drop here. 130,000. And every single one of them was for the Dems. I mean, what's the chance in that? In an area of 130,000 people, they all voted, and you're telling me every single one of them voted for the same person? You got more chance in Bigfoot or UFOs landing than that happening. So what's actually happening? Not allowed to say it. Because if you do, Twitter will take you down and delete your tweet. They've done it to countless people. YouTube may take videos down. That's why it's allegedly happening. So they don't. But it's not good. It's not democracy. I mean, I'll play a video for you later on. But even Biden let the cat out of the bag by saying he's put together the biggest fraudulent election that's ever happened. I'll play that later on and you can take it for what it is. But I like fairness. Me, I don't vote. I like third party, but there ain't many third parties to choose from. Jesse Ventura, Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard. Would have been nice to join forces. They would have had at least 10 million votes. And yeah, but it's all going down. I mean, the president will take him to court, and rightly so, because if you see that you're the victor because you're 600,000 in the lead, and then after a few days you've lost, something's not right there. And there's people voting twice, 3 or 4 times in fact. People ain't checking signatures. So there's also in a state where another party got 80,000 votes, and within 12 minutes it went down to 40,000. Hang on, where's my 40,000 votes gone? They've just been added on to the Dems. Biden, he's got my extra 40,000. Where did he get that? You see what Biden said? He's put together a team. So people should worry, I guess, because we've seen it in the past. All parties. I mean, Australia has a very good system in place for voter fraud, but it just seems like they've used COVID as an excuse to change in America the way people vote. and they're not letting people in to verify things. But I think personally, you should vote. You should count it 3 times. You should count it once. You can't just say, "Oh, yeah, that's right." No. You should check, because if you write a book and you get someone to read it and address all the punctuation and everything like that, he won't do it just once. Proofwriting, he'll be doing it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times to make sure it's spot on. And that's what the election should be all about. Fairness. So I believe that you should get everybody's vote. You should count everybody's vote, put it there, and then do it all over again. And then the third time is so important, because if they've made a mistake, so it goes to the Conservatives, then over here, Conservatives in England, Republicans in America, then they count the second time, and then it swings to the Dems in America, Labour in England. The third time might be in the middle somewhere, and that's when you basically tally up and say, right, it swung this way, so they're the winner. So you can count 10 times, and it will never be perfect, but at least you get the general idea, because if it's there once, there twice, there a third time, you know blatantly who's won. If it goes once, twice, 3 times over here, you know who's won. If it goes once, big swing, twice, big swing, you're thinking, nah, something's not right here. The third time's in the middle, so then the third time counts. I think. What say you? But raising the dead isn't a good thing, man. Walking around like zombies, posting their ballots. Yeah, a lot of strange stories, but they've all been taken down. And it's not fair, but I'll tell you what, another thing is election meddling started 4 years ago in the media. How can you have 90% against one party? Because I thought the media was unbiased, so it should be. But it's obviously not. So you've got 90% talking a load of old dog poop for 4 years and still pushing it. Now the other 10%, what I've just seen, is actually swinging back there. So it's like 99% of the media are against a particular person. And you think that can't be right. So me, like I said, I'm for nobody. I like fairness. But when I see something like that happening, I'm like, that's not fair. So you've got a whole dog poop coming out there on TV and the newspapers. So you've got the whole TV news, all newspaper news, all against one person. Then you've got the media, social media giants, all censoring when they shouldn't, because if they do, that means they're publishers, and if they censor your stuff, then I suppose you could take them to court and say, look, you're a publisher now because you shouldn't have censored my stuff. Who are you to censor me? So I do believe on social media that if someone posts something that shouldn't be posted, that other person should be able to sort it out through the courts, rather than because they're not censoring you. Freedom of speech, I guess. Anyway, that's off topic. But you've got the TV media, the newspaper, magazine media, the social media, all against one particular person. Then you've got to fight the people on the other side, which is half the country. And you're scratching your head thinking, this is no way. I mean, what's going on? I've never seen anybody so persecuted. Cool, I'm spitting and everything in here. But this is my 5 cents, 5p. And I'll show you some videos to back up what I say. And I've chosen specific videos because it's all over the internet. And every time you watch it, if you want to watch it again and share it, you can't. It's been taken down. So the videos I've seen are all the same, and most of them have been taken down. So whatever you watch is just going to be repeats of everybody else saying the same thing. But if there's 70 million people voting and 70 million people go out there and post the same, the truth, they have to take down 70 million videos, which is a hard task, but they have to do it. And what is the solution? The solution is stop watching their media on TV, stop buying their newspapers. If you're on Twitter, I suppose 70 million people can come off. But if you need it for your business, then that's why a third party is imperative. It's imperative, a third party, to stop all of this nonsense. It does gripe me. But when people say, you can't do nothing about it. Yeah. Alright, John. But now you can. Go out. Apparently it's pointless voting. But if you took to the streets and 70 million, every single person who voted, who thinks they got cheated out of the vote, should go out there, check your votes, and if they say you've already voted, your one's been cancelled, you're like, what? Well, what? Or if they say, oh, your mama voted, your great-great-grandma voted, and you're like, what? Where from? The grave. Check your votes. Ask any other members of your family that voted, and if there's any anomalies, put it all together. Try and get groups of you together. Hundreds will lead to thousands, to lead to millions. All get together, pull it all out there to show the world what's happened. And there are people in other countries that were sent to you as well. But it's not pointless, because you can't just sit back. Because if you're a victor, why should you let a cheat, apparently, win? That's why I like fairness. Those people that roll over, he even said it. He said, Biden said that once the election's over, we forget about all the election and we move on to greater and better things and make the country heal again. Yeah, you're forgetting about everything you've done. So you've just stolen from someone else and sold it. And well, I can't get stuff back. So what's done is done. So just roll over, forget about it, and we'll crack on and we'll heal and just shake hands. I won't do it again, I promise. Yeah? No. Well, that's my gripe for the day. But sub, like, share, and yeah, tell me what you think. But more importantly, if you don't like or sub, which I'd like you to, but if you don't, then at least look online for other videos similar, see the truth, think to yourself, this don't sound right. And if it doesn't sound right, just a little bit doesn't sound right, try and do your homework, and then start to think and push it. Because if you just leave it at the back of your mind and think, I've got bigger and better things to worry about. As Biden said, like I said, I'm not voting for nobody, but as Biden said in the debates, hey man, no one's worried about your family or my family, they're worried about the food on their table. Yeah, they're worried about being poor. You're keeping them poor. Because if you keep them poor, they're worrying about the bread on your table. They're not worrying about you. And the person who's keeping me poor is the one who apparently, not saying he is, cheating the election. But it's all weird and strange. Things don't add up. And if you're a mathematician, you'll be like, hell no. Hell no. Battery went dead. I wasn't shot. But yeah, wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, so sub, like, share. If you don't, I'd like you to. If you don't, then at least go out there, like I said before, and just push it and just see what's going on. If it's weird to you, strange to you, then push it, because that money and bread on your table ain't going to increase unless the people make it known that they have to earn your vote. And if they're cheating for your vote, they're never going to get your vote again. Because trust me, there's going to be a time when it's going to happen 4 years time, if it's known, because I think nothing you can do about it. I think Trump will lose. I think if there is fraudulent voting going on, nothing will be done. There'll be a load of old moaning, because that's what happens, especially in America, where they're like, oh, we go through courts and the courts are like, just drop it, it can't be asked, we're going to push forward anyway. Because what happens is, if he's declared winner, he's going to go out, throw a party, everyone's going to say, just drop it, just leave it, just leave it. And there's going to be, and the number of the people that's complaining is going to come down so small that people's not going to take any notice. And it's not going to be put online anyway. So everyone's going to forget about it and just say he's just moaning because he lost. So what I'd say is, don't let cheats prosper, and go out there and make them earn your vote. And if you think, listen, if you voted for Dems and you knew that they cheated to win an election, you know they're cheating out of your taxes and out of your money. And they cheat whatever it does, they don't care about you. They just care about getting in power. So then, if I was you, I'd vote the other way. Or a third party. But I would never vote them again. Just don't like cheats. And if you think, I don't care because my team won. You will do, because the other team will cheat in 4 years' time, and you're just going to keep going backwards and forwards, and it's going to lead to civil war. And what are you lot going to do? You're going to be in the thick of it and thinking, why are you smashing my windows? I've done nothing. Yeah, you have. You haven't complained about your side cheating. People just want fair. If it was fair, there'd be nothing, no qualms. But because there's too many strange and weird and wonderful things apparently happening, that some will say be swept under the carpet, then that's it. But I'm rambling now. So anyway.
So here's one of the first strange things about the US election. A lot of people's votes or ballots there were being cancelled. A lot of people have reported this. You can see this one example. Attention, and this is to all Arizona voters. If you cast a ballot by mail or voted early, you may want to check your ballot status to make sure it has not been cancelled. So that is one strange thing about the election. Specifically, one other strange thing, and we get into more of the esoteric things coming up in another video here. One of the most strangest things you've heard a lot of people talk about was the 138,000 votes that came out of nowhere and all went for who? Joe Biden. Here you can see Sheen Davis here of The Federalist, one of the co-founders, talking about this. Matt Couch trying to retweet it. That was censored by Twitter. And then Donald Trump said, what is going on here? And that tweet was censored by Twitter. Sheen Davis stating, so while everyone was asleep and after everyone went home, Democrats in Michigan magically found a trove of 138,000 votes, and all 138,000 votes magically went to Biden. That doesn't look suspicious at all. Here's regarding Wisconsin and Michigan. You can see these two states here, and around about the exact same time at 6 o'clock, or 6 a.m. I should state there, 6:23 a.m. in Wisconsin, and 6:59 a.m. And this is when this data was recorded here. You can see a massive spike at round about the same times. You see 6 o'clock there on both, where these lines are going. Just before 6 o'clock and just after 6 o'clock, you have these massive influxes of votes for just Joe Biden. Interesting, when you look at the votes themselves, you can see Michigan here, for an example. The added 300,000 or 130,000 votes, I should state here, you can see that this is Joe Biden at this stage had 1,900,000 votes, and then when those votes were added, you can see he's up to 48% instead of 46%, and no votes. If you look at all the other candidates of those mail-in, we're going to get into the statistics in the next video of the percentage of mail-in votes themselves and who they go to. All of those votes, 130,000, all of them, not one went for any other candidate. You can see here down the bottom there, 49,000, 10,559, 6,000, so on and so forth. Indeed, Donald Trump is still on 2,200,902, and you can see it there. So every single one of the other candidates never got one vote. They all went for, literally, at least in Michigan here, they all went for just Joe Biden. There you go, high anomaly. Here's another example of an anomaly in regarding this. Like I said, we'll get into some a bit later. I'm making these a series of short videos here on my channel. You can see 2.3%, right? This person from the Libertarian Party. Now, this particular screen shot here, you can see is taken at 12:03. This one is at 12:15. So 12:03, 12:15. So they have 89,000 votes at 12:03. At 12:15, they have 46,000 votes. So they lost a huge chunk of votes in 12 minutes. And where did those, well, at least 12 minutes when this was updated, where did those votes go, do you think? Well, they all went to Joe Biden. They all went pretty much to Joe Biden. You can count out an addition there of 40,000 plus votes added to Joe Biden's total. So disappeared from the Libertarian Party and then went to the Democratic Party.
Brandon Devine, we heard what Mick Mulvaney had to say there. Would you agree that the polling system in the United States is out of date?
It's incredible how out of date it is, especially when you come from Australia and our elections are run fairly smoothly, and we have the Australian Electoral Commission, we have scrutineers that have no problem companionably going in and watching as the ballots are opened. Here it just seems every state is on their own. There are different laws in every state. Particularly recently, because of COVID, a lot of these democratic states, these swing states, have changed the laws in murky ways in the last few months. And that all seems to be designed to get a result that they want for the Democratic Party. And there just doesn't seem to be any recourse. So you have at the moment all these allegations and some pretty good circumstantial evidence of serious voter fraud happening around the country, and yet there's no real centralised way of dealing with it. And just basic ballot security. I've seen videos of, I guess, their officials going and emptying. They've got boxes around the place where people could post their mail-in ballots, and people just going up and scraping them into garbage bags and putting them in the back of a truck. It's incredible. And when you have an election as close as this one is, where every vote matters, it's really incomprehensible that they could be so lax about it.
He's had 8 attorneys, I think it was 8 attorneys at your appearance on this. I don't understand why 8 attorneys need to evaluate this order. I did it all by myself. It says that no later than 10:30 today, you're to follow the election code, and my people, my clients, representatives, are to be within 6 feet of the process.
We have read the order, and we are complying with the order, and we will discuss it with you in a bit.
Can you explain what you're applying?
What would the compliance look like compared to this?
I got a badge. I got a badge right here. I'm observing people, and this gentleman, he's running. He threw me out. America, don't stand for this.
The American public sees what's happening as well. There will be a very difficult time recovering from what is, if the only thing transparent about this election has been the corruption, the political corruption in so many jurisdictions. Do you believe the courts will, in point of fact, move to correct these irregularities and to deal with the corruption that is so blatant?
Lou, I hope that we can get remedy from the federal court, but here's where we are. Every second, they're counting additional ballots with no observers in the city of Philadelphia. They're now telling us that they're going to finish counting in the city of Philadelphia by about 11 o'clock tonight, so right around the corner. We have had a court order in place effective since 9:30 this morning. They dismissed it. There was no enforcement mechanism. We asked the sheriff to come and enforce it. He patently said no. We asked the elections office to enforce it. They said no. Hey, Lou, if they can do this to the President of the United States and defy a court order, what's the next court order that they don't have to listen to? Does that mean it's a restraining order for somebody else? Does that mean it's a bench warrant? The fact that there's complete lawlessness in the city of Pittsburgh should scare every single American right now, that they've just determined that a duly elected judge with authority doesn't have the authority to do exactly what she said she would do. They completely defined her with no recourse whatsoever.